When it comes to reliable off-roaders, Toyota is kind of the name that you want. This is a Toyota 4Runner, and this is a Lexus GX 460, basically the luxury version of the 4Runner. And so today we are just outside Phoenix, Arizona to put both of these SUVs to the test and see which one is actually better off-road out here in the middle of nowhere. Starting off with the 4Runner, this is the 4-liter V6 from Toyota. It makes 270 horsepower and 278 pound-feet of torque. This is an absolute workhorse of an engine. Not that the Lexus isn't, but this is absolutely fantastic, and it has since gone away for the 2025 refresh of the 4Runner. They no longer offer this fantastic V6. It's paired to a 5-speed automatic transmission, and of course has 4-wheel drive, locking differentials, that sort of thing. The Lexus has a 4.6-liter V8 and it makes 301 horsepower and 329 pound-feet of torque. This has 2 extra cylinders, makes more power and makes more torque, but it definitely is heavier. This is also paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission, so we have a little bit different gearing, but like the 4Runner, we have locking differentials, 4-low, all of that. I'll admit it, the interior of the Lexus is just a nicer place to be. We have heated and ventilated seats. There's not a single dead switch in this premium version. We do have the comfort suspension options as well. We have adaptive cruise and we have all of these wonderful features. So if you really truly prioritize comfort, the Lexus is going to be the way to go, but you already knew that. The interior of the 4Runner has always been a downside. Even though this is a TRD off-road trim level, it's very, very basic. And for 2022, it feels like a 2009 car in here. Now, we do have some necessities. You know, we have cruise control and automatic high beams and things like that. And we still have the 4-wheel drive that's going to make today fun. However, this is definitely not the one that I would choose in terms of interior quality and just where I would want to spend my time. So here in the GX, let's do some on-road impressions. It's good, but it definitely is hurt by some of the modifications. The knobbier tires are definitely noisier. It has a lot harder of a ride because it does have a spacer. Although it does still have its adjustable suspension and it still works, it actually has a little top hat on top of it to give it a little bit extra ground clearance, and all of that definitely hinders that nice Lexus feel that I'm used to with the GX. However, when you're wearing a backpack, you can't run as good. So there are going to be compromises made, and it still is a nice driving experience. I can talk to you at a pretty normal volume, and it's not going to be the end of the world. It is going to be rougher than normal, but not unnecessarily rough. So driving the 4Runner on the street, honestly, it drives wonderful. Like for an off-road vehicle, and it is so comparable to the Lexus. This one actually drives just a touch better than the Lexus. However, this has a little bit less aggressive tires and it doesn't have quite that lift that the Lexus has. However, this does average about 5 to 6 mpgs on the highway better than the Lexus. So getting out to your wheeling spot, getting out to your off-road spot, this is going to be the one that you're going to want to live with more. If you're going to commute to work and have a 9 to 5, you're going to want that extra fuel economy with 2 less cylinders. So with the on-road done, it was time to hit the trails. Driving both the 4Runner and the GX back-to-back was really eye-opening. First of all, at the ground floor, they were both extremely capable. Anything we tossed at it, although this course or trail wasn't the craziest I've ever seen, it handled it with absolute grace. There wasn't a moment that I thought that it couldn't do any of it. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty. The 4Runner made about 30 less horsepower. Did I miss it? No, because the 4Runner was actually lighter than the GX. Not only is the GX heavier by design, but also it had the ladder on the back, the roof rack, and the suspension lift, and all of these things that added even more weight on top of it. So really that 30 horsepower was a net zero loss because the weight sort of balanced it out. The GX definitely rode nicer off-road as well, and it was a comfier place to be while out on the trail. With the cooled seats on, I was feeling pretty luxurious. And the owner, who is very tall, says that he has more room in the GX than he does in the interior of the 4Runner. I also didn't miss the 6th gear in the 4Runner. I think the 4Runner held its own incredibly well, put up against the Lexus. Now, this is going to come down to budget. If you can afford the Lexus, heck yeah, get the Lexus. If you're okay with the poorer fuel mileage, the Lexus is 100% worth it and the way that I would go. However, if you're balling on a little bit more of a budget, I would definitely lean more 4Runner. It's going to be more Spartan, it's going to be more sparse, but you're going to have those same attributes that made the GX so great off-road for a smaller price tag. When in doubt, both of these Toyota products were fantastic, and I would love to take them out on a trail again and again and again, and you can because they are very reliable. However, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out the true unsung hero of the day, this Nissan Xterra. We brought it along as a support vehicle, and it did everything that our 4Runner and GX did as well, but for a lot less money. The owner, David, has a few less dollars invested into his Xterra as the owners of the GX and 4Runner did. So, I think the big lesson here is to just find something that works for you and go hit the trails. The trails are where the memories are made. The trails are where the fun happens. And I think the biggest thing you can do is actually getting out and doing it. Finding that public property, finding that trail, getting some friends together and just doing it, because it is an absolutely wonderful experience and it was very eye-opening for me here today. So I always ask my viewers, if you could have either vehicle in today's video dropped off at your house for free, which one would you take? I think I would lean Team Lexus. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Genesis, Katrina, and David for making this video possible and joining me out on the trail today, providing their vehicles for me to test and drive. Huge thank you to the state of Arizona for having public land. That's pretty sick. And of course, thank you to you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.